Hi everyone and welcome. It's great to be back because I wasn't feeling well last week, and even though the plan was to try and do this live, I simply couldn't because my voice was terrible, my throat was aching, so I just decided to not do it. However, the topic of last week I've brought over to this week because there's a lot of interest. It's holidays. Well, who doesn't love a holiday, especially when it's a short trip that can be made affordable? So why not? So I'm going to share today about our recent holiday to Assisi. I went with Neil, my husband. It was just the two of us. It was actually a surprise. I'll tell you the story about that. For Neil's birthday, it was at the end of October. And how we booked, what we did, and what you can do to make the most of a short weekend or long weekend break. Now, if you have any questions at all about this trip in particular, if there's something I'm missing, something you're curious about, or even about anything else related to the topic, just leave a comment down here in the comment box and I will get back to you throughout the live. So hello, I can see a lot of faces popping up. It's fantastic to see you here. If you don't know who I am, my name is Nakita. I run the Mama Manual blog and social media pages, and I love helping busy moms just like you to take control of their time to live the life that they truly would love to live. So let's simplify, let's slow down, and let's actually live, mums. Holidays. Now, I do know quite a bit of people who would say that no, I would never take a 3 or a 4 day holiday. It's not worth the hassle. I'd rather go on holiday for a week. So I don't know about you. Do you still like short holidays? Do you like the longer types? Why don't you like short holidays? If you think that it's a hassle to pack, last week's blog post, actually my website is down right now, my apologies, so you won't be able to check it out now if you haven't already. But last week's blog post was about how I packed everything into just small hand luggage. We went for 4 days. Actually, I think it was 4 nights because you'll know about the story soon enough. But the trip turned out to be a longer one than we expected because of something that came up. But I managed to pack everything into a hand luggage. It's not the norm. I'm not an overpacker. It's not like I'll cram too many outfits into my bag. I'll just take one spare one. But I try to think of what I could possibly need in X amount of situations and end up carrying quite a largish suitcase usually. So this was quite a feat for me, and it was so freeing as well. So if you think that going on holiday for a few days it's not worth it because of the packing and the unpacking that you have to do, you have to check out that blog post. So today's Facebook Live is sponsored by Lechuza. Lechuza is a fabulous brand of self-watering plant pots. I don't know if you've seen my ones, I now have 2. I have a small one for my little sage and the larger one for my Maya plant inside our bedroom. And if you've made your Christmas list, maybe you're not ready from your gifts and you have a few question marks, Lechuza is actually perfect for everyone because Lechuza is made for busy people who isn't busy nowadays, and also for people who aren't so sure when they should be watering their plants. I haven't got green fingers. I don't know about you. But all plants actually need a different amount of water, so it gets a bit complicated. I'm always so unsure about whether my plants need to be watered or not. So the fantastic thing about this is that you just fill up the water reservoir and then you have like a little, not tool, well, you know what? I can actually show you my one. Just a second. Let's make this a little bit interactive. So, this is my sage, and you can actually see a water level here. There's a minimum and a maximum, and I fill the pot through the reservoir over here, and the soil is always damp. What it does is it is a self-watering plant pot, so the plant just takes up water from the bottom, and when this shows me that the level is down on the minimum, I just refill. Now, I think I filled this about 2 weeks ago, and it's still going strong, so it is really practical for anyone who's busy, or like I said, if you're unsure whether your plant needs watering or not. They start from $9.99, so prices are fantastic, and you can even, if you want to spend more, you can buy larger pots or you can buy it along with a plant as well. They've got a fantastic range. So I've put the link in the description box. There's a link to the Lechuza Facebook page, and just go check them out if you're interested. So back to the topic. We're talking about short holidays today, and particularly our recent holiday to Assisi, how we booked, what we did, how to make the most of a short holiday, and any questions which you'd like me to answer. So, short holidays. There are quite a bit of pros. My hair is coming undone. The beauty of life. There are a lot of pros to short holidays. They're cheaper than a week's holiday, of course, because less days, so you can do a little bit of budget travel if you're doing it for a shorter period. If you work, which I know most of you do, there's less leave to be taken. If you can manage to find a long weekend, maybe with a public holiday, or else find the perfect break like this one I'm going to tell you about, which is from Friday to Monday. That's just 2 days of leave. So it's a way to take a break without really using up a lot of your vacation leave. If you are keen on traveling without the kids, 2 or 3 or 4 days is just perfect because it's not too short, it's not too long, it's just ideal. It's also easier to plan because 3 days of planning isn't half as daunting as a full week. And I don't know about you, but when I'm traveling on a short trip, my expectations, I have less expectations of the trip because it's a quick one, it doesn't cost so much, I just want to relax, and then it ends up being most of the time better than the ones which I really dive into and plan a lot and research a lot, and you end up expecting a lot out of it because there's been a lot of input. Do you travel without kids? I'll reply to this at the end of the live, but someone asked me if I feel guilty about traveling without the children. I used to do, Neil and I used to do it quite a lot when Yannick was younger. I think he used to travel about twice a year without him, just 3 or 4 days. And we actually tried to do it when Nina was 11 months old, but we were very unlucky because she had a high spike of fever and was admitted to hospital. So we just came back down from our trip. She actually had a febrile convulsion and I was so scared and I felt so guilty about it, even though, it wasn't my fault. And we wanted to be sure that it wouldn't repeat itself when we weren't away. So we waited until she was out of the kind of danger zone, which was actually up until 2 years of age. Apparently, if it doesn't repeat itself, it's just a one-off. But we waited until Nina was almost 4 until we decided to just leave again, just Neil and I, because we were really scared that something would happen. But last January, we went on our first trip. It was just the 2 of us. We went to Valencia. It was fun. We enjoyed it. And now in October, Neil and I went to Perugia in Italy. Much more exciting. The place was beautiful. We were more relaxed as well. And it was a delight. I already mentioned that it was actually a surprise for Neil's birthday. So Nina wanted to sleep at her grandparents really badly for 3 days. She was always going on about, "Mommy, I want to sleep at grandma for 3 days." So after her repeating it week after week, I decided to just log online and see if I could get a good price on a flight for Neil and I thought about booking a nice surprise for Neil's birthday, just the 2 of us. We'd never done it for each other. So I checked in. There were a number of good flights available. It wasn't high season, end of October. And I spoke to my in-laws, just confirmed that everything was okay with them, and decided to book. So I got us the flights, and I remember I bought us as well 2 really nice hand luggages, and I decided to surprise Neil 2 days before the holiday by putting the tickets inside an envelope, putting the envelope inside the hand luggage, wrapping the hand luggage, and just giving him the luggage for him to open, and he'll open it up, find the tickets, and just tell him, pack, because we're going on holiday in 2 days. And I was really excited about it. So what happened? I decided to give him the surprise after Nina went to bed because it's true that she wanted to sleep at Granny's really badly, but I did not want to rub a surprise holiday in her face. Yannick was fine to go to my mom's because my mom's live in Imjar and Yannick could get the school bus and go to school on the Friday, not a problem. And so I waited for Nina to go to bed. And what happened? About 45 minutes before Nina was due to go to bed, and I was getting all these butterflies, so excited to tell my husband about what I've organized, I received a message from Ryanair, and I was like, oh, they're probably reminding us about our upcoming flight. And as soon as I opened the message, I read something like, kindly note that your flight, blah, 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 has been cancelled. And I was like, no. My mind just went blank. I couldn't really react because I didn't want to spoil it just in case it could be fixed. I thought it was a mistake. I was in complete self-denial. Neil just looked at me and said, are you okay? I said, yes, I'm fine. And somehow I managed to disappear into the bedroom to just check out the message, log into my email and the account, and I found out that there was an Italian airstrike on the day that we were flying. I was like, no. I was panicking, I was sad, I was angry, but I said, I've got to keep cool and I'll see how to handle it after Nina's in bed. So I went out, went near Neil, got Nina into bed, and then, till that time, I was really holding myself well, I was like trying to smile and telling Nina her bedtime story. And when she was in bed, I sat down on the sofa next to Neil and I said, listen, I have a surprise for you. He's like, yes? I said, but don't get too excited because, and I just started crying. I said, because I booked a holiday for you, but the flights have been cancelled. I don't know what to do. And I gave him the luggage. He opened the luggage. He's looking at me, not even knowing I didn't even know what was going on, barely, let alone him. Calmed down, started breathing properly, explained the situation calmly. And we just opened the laptop and we're trying to think. We're like, what shall we do? So if we cancel it, Nina will still want to go and sleep at her grandparents. What will we do if Nina is at her grandparents for 3 or 4 days? We'll probably go out because I will be so disappointed. I don't want to stay home. I just want to go out and enjoy our 4 days together. It's Neil's birthday. And then I thought, you know what? This is going to cost an arm and a leg anyway. Let's just see if we can just change the flights to another day because it's not worth cancelling and rebooking another day anyway. So we were checking and we were trying to, just a second, I blanked. I'm trying to remember the actual story. Yes, we decided to try and change the flights, fly out on the same day, but go somewhere else. But the flights were so ridiculously expensive, like 800 euros flights, 900 euros flights, it simply wasn't worth it. And then Neil got this brainwave and he said, how far is Rome from Perugia? So we Googled it, I think it was about 2.5 or 3 hours away. He's like, okay, let me tell you what we can do. Let's fly into Rome the day before, drive into Perugia, and then get the flight back from Perugia anyway. So I was like, that could work. There are a lot of flights to Rome, so probably the ticket prices won't be as high. And surely enough, it only cost us about 100 euros more to do that. So we checked that my mom could, Yannick could sleep at my mom's for an extra night. We spoke to Neil's parents about Nina, checked everything out so that we could do it. And we were like, okay, let's look at the positive side. We're going to get an extra day. And then I checked with the hotel. The hotel actually had it was an apartment like inside the hotel, so it was like a B&B apartment, and they actually had space for us to stay in the same apartment for an extra night. Extended the car hire, and everything was fine. But we spent quite a bit of time trying to do this and sorting things out, and we were exhausted by the end of it, and we were planning to leave the next day as well. So I started packed the kids' stuff. Anyway, managed to do it. Went and got an extra day out of it. It was exhausting because we had a flight delay. We had to drive for about 2.5 hours from Rome to Perugia. We got to our apartment in pitch black darkness. It was a bit scary because it wasn't in the middle of nowhere, but it was only 30 minutes away from the airport, from Perugia airport, but it was like in the middle of a forest, the place that I chose. So it was pitch black. I thought that we were somewhere, God knows where. And anyway, we got there at 2:30 a.m., knackered, but it was totally worth it. So that's the story about what happened. But it was worth it. And I'm going to give you a little bit of the ins and outs of how we booked and everything. So maybe you could decide to book a quick break yourself. I just went into the Ryanair site to actually confirm the days of the flights because the originally planned flights were to fly in on the Friday and fly back out on the Monday. So I just went out to confirm that. And the days that I chose, I've got no clue what days I chose, but the flights without the luggage and without the taxes were just €10 for like €10 to go and €10 coming back. So I think that there are some fantastic deals on still. So just check them out after this live if you're interested. So a little bit of a break. My voice isn't still 100%. I still get a little bit tired after talking a lot, so I need to take it slow. So if you want a quick break, sometimes I'm like, okay, where shall we go from Friday to Monday or Friday to Sunday? What I want to do actually is just sit down and compile a list and just give it to you, mamas, because I know that it's helpful if you just want to do something really quick. You've got an unexpected weekend off and you want to go on a short trip. But this one is actually from Friday to Monday. So you don't need to be scouring all over the web to try and find a weekend away, which is not just a Friday to Monday trip, but which is a place that's actually nice and makes sense to go for a quick break away with your husband, boyfriend, partner, family. This is one of them. So Umbria. Perugia is in the region of Umbria. I'd never been to Perugia or anywhere in Umbria before, and Umbria is a fantastic region. It's so beautiful. It's bordering Tuscany, and it's very similar to Tuscany. So you get a lot of views, a lot of nature, a lot of countryside, beautiful medieval towns, amazing food and wine, and it's famous for its truffles as well. And so it sounds like the perfect getaway, and yes, it is. I found out after we booked because I just wanted to go for a weekend away, and I just booked it, and then I said, listen, I'll check out whatever's on afterwards. But we were really lucky because there was actually the chocolate festival in Perugia when we were there. So once a year, there's the Perugina factory as well in Perugia, hence the name Perugina. And once a year they have this chocolate festival which is called the Euro chocolate, and lots of people come from all around the world to this chocolate festival. You will find thousands of types of chocolate, artisan chocolate, all the brand names that you know. I really enjoyed, like for example, I was sampling, it was a pairing between chocolate and beer. So I tried this truffle chocolate and then this beer. I can't remember what flavor it was, but I would have never chosen to try it. But when they were coupled together, it was really delicious. So if you can make it at the end of October, there is the chocolate festival. I wouldn't suggest that you'd stay in Perugia if you're going for the chocolate festival, because during the weekend it gets really crazy. I planned it so that we went on Friday morning, and it was really quiet. We returned on another day during the weekend and it was mad. So we just went in and went out again. So if you're going for the festival, just don't stay inside the city while you're staying there on holiday. So we visited quite a little bit we visited a few towns when we were over there. I will explain how we went around as well. Of course, we went to Perugia. Like I mentioned, there was the chocolate festival, and it is like the main city. It's a sweet little city, lots of great restaurants, quite a bit of shops, nice to walk around, beautiful architecture. We enjoyed Perugia quite a bit. And we also went to Assisi. We were based in Assisi, but we weren't in the center. We were in Assisi outskirts. I mean, Assisi is very small. With the car, it took us only about 5 minutes to get to the center, or maybe about 10. I think it was about 10. And Assisi was beautiful. I never expected Assisi to be, I was really taken in by it. We went once throughout the day and we returned at night as well. At night, it is just gorgeous. all lit up with the beautiful cathedrals and the little shops. I do recommend that you visit both throughout the day and throughout the night. The piazzas come alive in the evening, and there was live music, and there are all the locals walking around with the little cafes and all of the little alleys with the restaurants and wine bars tucked everywhere. It was really beautiful. And we also went to Spello. Spello is a medieval city. It's perched on a hill. And Spello is very, very pretty because there is a flower festival once a year in Spello, and all of the houses compete to get trophies and prizes for being the most lavishly decorated house, full of flowers on the balconies, near the doorstep, on the facades. And the people actually keep up these beautiful facades and balconies full of flowers all year round. So we're walking inside these alleys with these beautiful houses full of colorful flowers, and you could see as well, they had like these little, can't remember what they're called, but they had these little signs affixed to the walls saying like first prize, Flower Festival 2017, second prize, third prize. And it was really, really pretty. It was quite a walk up because you could walk up to the very top and there was a gorgeous view. But it was worth walking up the hill until you get to the very top. I think Spella was one of our favorites as well. Word of caution, if you do go, wear flats, comfortable flats, because a lot of the places that we visited were perched on hills. I did take a pair of comfortable heels with me. I'm usually fine walking with comfortable heels. I didn't wear them not because I didn't want to walk in them, but because we planned to kind of go out again for dinner during the evening. But it didn't make much sense because we were there for a couple of days, so we used to go out from the morning and stay out till the evening. So I used to wear my flat trainers, which made more sense. We also visited Spoleto, which was actually another sweet village, and I believe that there was somewhere else as well, but I will summarize these places and I will share them with you inside of my stories, because to be very honest, my mind is not very good at remembering names of places, but I will make sure to just round up all the places we've visited and I will upload them inside of my stories with just a little bit of info about each place for you to be able to save. So, how did we book? So, the flights we got from Ryanair. Now, Ryanair, if you want to get a good deal on flights, do not go through the standard booking calendar, so to speak. You know that when you go on the app or on the website, you choose the dates, number of people, click let's go, and then you get the prices for the dates. No, the best way to get great deals for flights is to use the Fare Finder. So there are some menus at the top. If you cannot find the Fare Finder, you can Google Ryanair Fare Finder and it will take you right to the Fare Finder. So what's different about the Fare Finder? So the Fare Finder, you actually get these bar graphs, and you get a bar graph for the outgoing flight and another bar graph for the incoming flight. And you get different dates, for example, let's say the 19th, the 24th, 27th, 31st, and the 4th. And you get the bars with the prices according to how expensive or how cheap the flights are. So you can go back to the calendar as well and check the cheapest days and then click on the return flight and find the cheap return flight as well. So that makes it really easy to get a good deal on flights. So that's the first thing. Secondly, if you want to fly with a hand luggage, you should always select the first option. You know that when you go and book your flights, you will get 3 options. You should choose the first one. That's the standard. And with that, you get a small cabin bag. It's like a handbag size, which can go under the seat in front of you. But then you'll get an option to add a hand luggage later on when you're booking. So that's the cheapest way to book your flight. You'll also get the option to choose your seats as well. There are different prices for the seats, and that's how you should get your flights booked as cheap as possible. Then what we did was we rented a car. Now, of course, you can opt not to rent a car, but I'm not really sure about how good public transport is. in Perugia, so you'll need to do a little bit of research with that as well. And of course, you always need to be careful about booking accommodation that's not bang in the center unless you want to get a lot of taxis. We didn't stay in the center, we stayed a little bit further out. It was just 30 minutes from the airport, but there were no bus stops around us. So you'll need to do your research about getting around, of course, before deciding whether you should rent a car or whether you should use public transport. So I'm just going to have a break and say hello to some people over here. So hello Claudia, and Alexia, Tanya, Denise, Maria, Jocelyn, Jolene, and Gail. Hello everyone. No questions today, no comments. Can you hear me? Can you see me? It's getting darker, yes, but I'm pretty sure that you can still see me unless there's something going on with the tech, which I hope not. Anyway, I will continue because there's usually a little bit of a lag with the comments coming in. So, accommodation. I'm a little bit picky with my accommodation. I don't like spending a lot of money on accommodation because you're not in there all the time, and I'd rather spend it on flights or on eating out or getting around. But I do like somewhere that's clean, that's comfortable, and I like something that's pretty. So if I don't really like the interior of the hotel or of the room, even if I like the outdoor space, I usually don't book it. Now, this might be a little bit of a drawback, but it's just me. I don't like staying in places that aren't visually pleasing, but I can usually find a pretty good deal and find somewhere I like as well. It just takes a little bit more research. So, Marisa, thank you. Best of all, we can hear you well. Yes. Thank you for confirming. You're all fully quiet, and I just thought, I hope there's nothing strange going on. So, back to the accommodation. Lisa, yes, we can see and hear you. If you've got any questions, ladies, feel free to ask, of course. So, for this particular holiday, I wanted something that was authentic. I didn't want to stay in just any hotel. I wanted something that was quiet. I wanted to be a romantic getaway. And I wanted something a little bit original. So I went on booking.com, loads and loads of options, loads of beautiful places within my budget. I wasn't looking to spend more than €100 a night. But they were all kind of run-of-the-mill places. So I went to Airbnb, checked again, nothing really that tickled my fancy. Apart from one place, it was a kind of lake house. I'll try and find it and I'll link it for you if you're interested. It was like a lake house made of glass. It was really nice, but it was too far away from all the places that I wanted to visit. It was next to a lake, but we've been to lakes plenty of times. And when I was reading on TripAdvisor, the people were saying, listen, don't do the lake. It's below average. Compared to the other lakes in Italy, and if you're in Perugia and in Assisi, you should really go around that area, so don't do that. So I said, you know what, the place is nice, but I really want to see the most beautiful parts of Umbria, so I decided not to book that place. And then I went on to this website. I had booked another place. I booked twice actually from this website. It's called agriturismo.it. You can choose places with free cancellation, you can use filters, you can send messages to the owners of the hotels and of the agriturismos, because there's a lot of agriturismos on it. And the prices are great as well. So I went there and immediately I found about 6 places which looked really fantastic. But there was this one place which really stood out. Because this place was just 30 minutes away from the airport. It was nestled in the middle of the woods. The reviews said that it was superb. It was rated over 9 out of 10, and everyone was saying that you could hear the sounds of the animals during the night, that there were these beautiful walks that you could take around the property, that the owners were really nice, you got your own apartment, and if you wanted to really take a break away from it all, yet not be too far from all of the action, it was the perfect place to be. So I thought, yes, this is the place. And I will share a few snapshots of our holiday by adding them to my Instagram highlights. So you've got Instagram. I will create a highlight called Italy trip or Assisi trip or Perugia trip, and you'll be able to check out the place that I am that we stayed at. The owner, who was really, really sweet, happened to have a Maltese grandfather. Her name is Ella. She's a really sweet woman. She's about my age, has a daughter just a little bit younger than Nina. And she used to live in the UK most of her life, so I was really baffled when she started talking to me with this perfect English accent. And I was talking about Malta, she was talking about her grandparents, and it was really lovely to connect with her, and she made us feel really at home. The place really exceeded our expectations. By the way, this isn't sponsored in any way. I really loved it and I want to go back. I'm trying to remember the name. There's no way I'll remember, as usual, mum brain. But if I don't remember, I will leave the name of the place over here. But anyway, no, I won't go on about the place because this wasn't the scope of the live. But if you have any questions, do ask. But I couldn't have chosen a better place. If you like me, take a little bit of time to decide on a place to stay, what I would suggest that you do, this is always what I do, is I hop onto booking.com. I do something that I like, and that's fine to go to just in case I don't find anything better. With free cancellation, I book it, and then I take my time to browse around and see if I like anything else. And if I do, then I will cancel my other booking. Of course, I don't know about you, but I always book places with free cancellation, even though they're slightly more expensive, because I want that peace of mind that if something happens, especially if we're traveling without the kids, I can just cancel and get my money back. Now, tired again of going on and on. Marisa says, we are getting interested. Yes, hotel deals, holiday deals, short weekends away. What's not to like? Now, just a few tips to make most out of a short break if you're booking a short break. So, since you're on your holiday for quite a short period of time, I would suggest that you plan beforehand so that you can make the best of it and not have to think about what you're going to do whilst you're there. Of course, I would also suggest that you plan to have some downtime, especially if you're planning to go without the kids. We did stay in for one of the nights as well. It was nice to just take things easy and have slow breakfasts in the morning and then leave and go at our own pace. But I would suggest you go on TripAdvisor. You can pick a few attractions, you can add them to your trips, and you can share your trip with whoever you're traveling with. That's a really handy feature, and then you can use it on the app as well. You can star a few great restaurants as well, so that when you're there, you can just check what's around you. We always like going to restaurants which aren't necessarily expensive, but I don't like getting caught last minute outside of a restaurant, not knowing whether it's good or not, and being disappointed because food and having really nice lunches and dinners are part of my holiday. So that's us. I don't know if that's you as well. And just check out a few places which make for great day trips and just add them to your notes or to your Google Maps or to your TripAdvisor app. So you have a little bit of an idea of what you'll be doing. Of course, if you're driving around and even if you're using public transport, I would suggest that you pick towns and villages which aren't that far away. Because if you're picking places which are, let's say, a 3-hour drive away, remember that it's another 3 hours to get back. So unless you're switching accommodation maybe midway, or you're getting a flight from one place and then leaving from another, which is something that we used to do as well, it's not really worth going to places which are so far away, because you're just spending 6 hours in the car, which isn't worth it if you only have 3 days to spend wherever you're at. I'd also suggest, and this I relearned again during our last holiday when we were in Italy, that you aim to leave in the morning to go out for your day trip and just stay out for the whole day. You can plan to stop and take a long leisurely lunch, or buy a few food items, a few local items from a shop, and go for a picnic in the afternoon and just relax and take it easy. I pack my Kindle inside of my bag and just plan to relax in the afternoon, or stop for a coffee break in the middle. But it kind of spoils the holiday for me when I need to go back to the hotel, have a shower and get ready again, and that'd be wasting an hour or more of our time just to go out again. And my energy levels usually dip as well. I don't feel like going out again after I go in. What I would suggest, however, I always pack a bag of extras which we leave in the car. So I check the weather. If it looks like it's going to be raining, I pack an umbrella or a raincoat, put it in this bag. I pack an extra layer, I pack a scarf or a thicker jacket. So if we're staying out till the evening, I can just quickly switch my jacket, put on a scarf or a hat or gloves or whatever. And that means that we will be comfortable enough to stay out throughout the evening as well. So those are the tips that I had for you. And before I close this live, I just wanted to answer a question which Trudy asked earlier today. And this is something that I've discussed recently as well. I do talk about it quite a bit. And Trudy asked whether I feel guilty about leaving the kids behind. Now, the honest truth is that I don't feel guilty now about leaving the kids behind. We do take holidays with the kids as well, of course. It's not like we're going on holiday and we're leaving the kids home. But let me explain where I'm coming from. Now, first off, with both our children, we, ever since they were babies, literally babies, Nina was just 4 months old when, I think roundabout, 4 months old, when she slept over at her grandparents for the first time. Now, I'll be honest, I probably wouldn't have left her to sleep over at such a tender age hadn't we had a wedding in Gozo. But we were invited to a wedding of a colleague of mine in Gozo, and Nina was 4 months old. And I said to Neil, what shall we do? I really don't want to miss it. I'd love to go, but Nina's so young. And we said, I came up with this plan. I said, listen, let's take Nina to sleep for one night as a trial, like 2 or 3 weeks before the wedding. So I can be all anxious for one night and just wake up and look at my phone all night through before the actual wedding in Gozo. Because obviously I didn't want to spend that night just worrying and not enjoying myself at the wedding, and even like if something came up or Nina was crying, I'd have to get the ferry back to Malta. So I said, let's give it a trial, see how it goes. And if it goes well, we'll go. So that's what we did. We packed Nina's stuff and I was really anxious to leave her. We left her at Neil's parents, came back to Mjar. We barely slept. I remember looking at our phones, checking in, but Nina just slept the whole night through. She was really happy to be with her grandparents, didn't cry, and it was really liberating because we went to Gozo then. Obviously we were still a bit anxious, but we managed to enjoy the wedding and we felt really good that we could enjoy ourselves, and we had like peace of mind because we knew that the kids were well cared for. Neil's parents, my grandparents, all of our families were very hands-on with Nina when she was a newborn. So we knew that they would know what they had to do if she cried, if she wouldn't sleep, if she's whimpering. They knew exactly what her routine was like. So that was a huge help. So, once Nina, and of course Yannick was over 9 years of age, so no issues there, but once Nina had slept at her grandparents that first time, we decided to make a thing out of it, and every once in a while, we used to take her to Neil's parents. They live in Birzebuja, which is quite far away. I mean, we didn't used to take her for 2 hours. It was worth it to take her overnight straight away. It's not that she doesn't sleep at my parents', but my dad owns a wine bar. And my mum helps him over there a lot, so they're not really available evenings. But we kept that up. And Nina is so used to sleeping at her grandparents now that if she doesn't do it once in a while, she simply asks, Mummy, when am I sleeping at Nanna's? And she likes sleeping at my grandparents. Once in a while she goes to my parents too. There's my brother over there. If he doesn't go out, he watches her. Recently she slept at my grandma's as well, my great grandma, and Nina's great grandma, and she really enjoyed that and she wants to go back. So Nina can enjoy herself with our family members. She loves having sleepovers, so that makes it easier. But besides all this, I am a firm believer in self-care. And I believe that it's important to take time out, not just as a mom, but as a couple as well. Because once the kids come into our lives, rightly so, we're very busy taking care of them. We do so much for the children, and sometimes, unfortunately, the husband takes a lower priority rank than the children, and that's not really right. It's nice to just be the two of us. It's nice to just go abroad and be a little bit crazy and feel like it's the old times again, when it's just us two and we're dating. We know that the kids are in really good hands. We spoil them a little bit. We ask them what they'd like us to buy for them when we're abroad. We get a couple of gifts for them when we're back. And I'm a better mom because of that as well. Because when I come back from 3 days, it's not that we do it that often. Yeah, we managed to do it twice this year, so that was really great. But regardless, we still did it. We used to go to Gozo in the past few years as well. And that's great as well. I mean, Gozo is a lovely place. I enjoy going. Peace of mind because it's close. You can just book a quick weekend away whenever, you know what to expect. And when we go and I come back, I feel like I have so much to give to my children because I've really had a good break. I feel refreshed, I feel rested. I feel like I've literally recharged my batteries. So no, I don't feel guilty about going abroad without the kids because it's a method of self-care. It's a time to reconnect with my husband. I know that the kids are having fun. I know they're in good hands. We deserve it, we really do. We do so much for them. It's fine to just take a few days off for yourself. And if you feel just a little bit anxious about doing it, start with date nights, go to Gozo then, just instead of just going abroad. And of course, we're really lucky to have the help to do it because I know that not everyone is able to do this. But once we do, I've taken the opportunity and yes, we do it once in a while and I hope to do it at least another time next year. So that's it, mamas. It's been great connecting with you all. I hope you have a really lovely weekend. And I won't catch you next week because next week it's a public holiday, but I will keep in touch with you on my stories. And remember to check in on Instagram because I will be adding a few highlights from our trip just in case you want to have a look at where we stayed and what we did. And stories on Instagram highlights are available just on Instagram. So that's where you need to watch them. Have a nice weekend. Take care. Bye.